You're listening to the B&H Photography Podcast. For over 40 years, B&H has been the professional source for photography, video, audio, and more. For your favorite gear, news, and reviews, visit us at bnh.com or download the B&H app to your iPhone or Android device. Now here's your host, Alan Weitz.
Greetings and welcome to the B&H Photography Podcast. Photokina 2018, the big kahuna of photo shows, took place in Cologne, Germany this year from September 26th to September 29th, and that is the topic of today's show. Joining us in the studio today are B&H podcast veterans Todd Vorenkamp and Shawn Steiner. Also joining us is a newbie to our show, Dana Glidden, who is the head macher of social media at B&H, who attended this year's show and is joining us to share his experiences there. And before we start talking nuts and bolts about cameras, lenses, and all that other stuff, Dana, give us an idea about what it was like there. It's a big show from what I understand, a little bit bigger than the Photo Plus that we have here in town.
It is. This is my second photokina. I went for the first time 2 years ago. And it's a gigantic show.
Now, also, it's up to now, it's been every 2 years, right?
Up to now, it's been every 2 years. Starting next spring in May, they're bringing it to a yearly show.
So May 2019, so the next one will be in 6 months?
Which will be an interesting change. So this is my second one. Went 2 years ago. It's a very big show.
It's more than one hall. I understand it spans, all over the place.
It spans 13 halls of the Cologne Expo Center.
Do they call it the Big Kahuna, or is there a German word for that?
They call it a trade fair.
Okay.
So it spans 13 halls. You have all of your major players there. It's a very big announcement show. 2 years ago, Panasonic announced the GH5, and it's always sort of like from what I've gathered, it's where announcements happen, and then Photo Plus, which happens like a month later, is like the first appearance of all of these things in the U.S.
The announcements usually come with just a prototype, or sometimes nothing, or what?
Going back to Panasonic, 2 years ago, the GH5 was announced at photokina, and it was the first announcement of it, and it was there behind glass, and it was like not a prototype announcement, but sort of an announcement of this is what we're making. This year, the S1 and the S1R were there with kind of limited specs, and the prototypes there in the glass of like, this is what we're working on now. This is what you should be excited about.
You get a lot of teasers there. Like the full frame Pentax was behind plexiglass for 3 shows in a row before it actually showed up. So it's a little teaser, things to come.
So there was a lot of full-fledged announcements, but also a lot of like, this is what's coming. So there's a lot of like future announcements, things to look forward to.
And do they also have lectures and seminars and photo shows and all that
they
kind of accompanying stuff too? Yeah.
There's a whole conference track, which I, unfortunately, being the sole person there, did not get to take advantage of. I was just kind of out on the trade show floor, but all of the big vendors had people speaking at their booths. Nikon, Canon had a stage, and they brought their ambassadors. Sony had people speaking there and shooting experiences, and a hands-on look and feel of all of the gear.
You also have a lot of smaller vendors and a lot of more eclectic camera manufacturers and dealers. I know I follow on Instagram a lot of these smaller companies, and a lot of them seem to be there, little organizations and stuff. So I imagine there's a lot of activity on the floor, of things you don't normally see.
Yeah, I mean it's a vast array of brands and experiences and products, and everybody from who you would expect to be there to smaller names just trying to make a name for themselves and get.
Is it safe to assume that a lot of the visitors and people walking around are more interesting to watch than some of the exhibits themselves?
So I go to a lot of trade shows for social media for B&H, and this one was by far one of the most packed. At any of the big announcements, the booth was like 5 or 6 people deep trying to like get their hands on the new Fuji or the new. I mean, the EOS R, they had a whole shooting experience for that at the Canon booth, and there was a line, and almost like an amusement park ride. They had all the Canon techs there to help you out, and it was very amusement park.
Do they bring over English speaking techs? I mean, American.
Yeah,
Canon USA.
English was not an issue.
Did I say American speaking?
Did you?
English speaking.
No, there was no real language barrier.
But the crowd is obviously mostly German, but it caters to an international crowd.
Is that safe to assume that they were all German?
It's a European crowd, but there's plenty of people from the States there. It's not multinational. It's an international show. It brings in people from everywhere.
It's the biggest.
It's the biggest photo show in the world, from what I gather.
At least used to
And
be.
It used to be, yeah.
Now it's going yearly. I think it's going to have to cut back a
Have to
little.
shrink a little bit.
It'll be interesting to see. I don't know what my thoughts are on bringing it yearly. Like I think because it is a biannual, right?
Yes, yeah.
A biannual show. It packs that much punch. Like.
I don't know, because lately when we see announcements from the major manufacturers, a lot of them are development announcements at this point, and I feel like it's just because they have to rush to get something to show us. And so maybe going annually will lessen the pressure, and maybe we'll just see more announcements throughout the year that are real announcements.
It could be a reflection on the market now. Like cameras used to come out and they'd have 10-year lifespans, but in the digital world,
The Nikon F3 is 26 years.
Right, everything. So that's a lot of photokinas to pass by without a new F camera from Nikon. But now, things are coming out every year, so maybe it's a reflection on that. It would be, as a fan of the show in general, having never been there, it would be a shame to see it get smaller because they're going yearly. But
Well, also, Photo Expo has been coming down in size a lot too.
Yeah.
A lot of the major shows have been shrinking. They used to have all the manufacturers. Now it's really stepped back a lot, and a lot of manufacturers go to hotels nearby because it's cheaper. So it'd be interesting to see how this will transform.
Yeah, WPPI, which Todd and I went to, that was significantly smaller, and they actually moved out of the convention center to just a hotel.
Leica and Hasselblad aren't going to Photo Expo this year. They're not even setting up booths. So I don't know what that means. But maybe they are incorporating non-photo stuff, other electronics, other technologies, or no?
Not to detract for a second, but I was at Photokina. I was also at IBC, the European large video show 2 weeks beforehand, and there is a lot of diversification going on in the gear that's there. Like you saw big releases from Nikon, Canon. With their full frame mirrorless, all of those were very prominently displayed at IBC, which is a predominantly video show. And on the flip side of that, at Photokina, I mean, Sony had all of their pro video gear, Canon had all of their cinema gear on display. So they're definitely taking advantage of the space and the audience and showing off everything that they have to show off, instead of just focusing specifically on photo or specifically on video.
Kind of stepping back a little bit, did you stay at a hotel nearby? Did you walk by? Is it just constant photo stuff, everyone around you? Are you staying in a hotel attached to a convention center? How's that work?
So I stayed at a hotel. It was I took the train over there. It took me 20 minutes to get there. It's on I was on the other side of the water. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it does take over the town. I mean, I was at a hotel. I believe everybody else at the hotel was with Fuji. So it's big. It's big.
What was some of the more eclectic exhibitors you saw there? There had to be some real strange ones.
Eclectic exhibitors. Stumping me on that one for a minute. Let me come back to that one. Olympus. Olympus, not an eclectic exhibitor, but Olympus and Fuji were two brands that kind of surprised me in the sheer size of their exhibits. Olympus had I think one hall to themselves. It was the Olympus Perspective Playground.
smaller sensors, bigger booths.
Perspective Playground, and it was their kind of own little amusement park. Like you went in, you got a badge, they gave you an Olympus camera and lens to play with. You went in and they had 8 or 9 different things to shoot, whether it be models, whether it be everything was kind of fun, wacky, moving colors to help the shutter keep up and to show off video text. And they had like an actual perspective area where you kind of put yourself in as a model in this tube, and it was fun and it was big, and like it was worth talking about. Fuji had one of the bigger booths there, from everything, the XT3, the 50R. They had a whole gigantic section of their booth for Instax alone. So like they came out punching.
Quick question about, is it mostly the gear that we're going to see here, or do they announce different things for the European market and then wait maybe later for Photo Expo for something that would be the American market, or do those distinctions don't exist anymore?
I'm shaking my head like you guys can see me.
No. It's great radio.
No, I didn't see anything that was specific that I wouldn't expect to see here. And similar to 2 years ago, I expect like everything that I saw announced there to be at Photo Plus for everybody over here that didn't go over there to see.
Now, you guys who covered this kind of leading up to the event itself, were there any surprises, any announcements that weren't expected?
I think the most surprising to me was the Zeiss camera, because Zeiss hasn't made cameras in a while. So them coming out with a digital camera, especially one that's so, I kind of want to say forward thinking, but it's just weirdly social media oriented, but still hall end.
All right.
There's no Zeiss Rumors website that we track, so it was kind of out of the blue. Yeah.
To that though, Zeiss wasn't they didn't have a booth at Photokina. They threw their own event offsite to specifically announce this camera and the lens. And I mean, I found out about it that night from rumor sites and from our affiliates, and that was a surprise.
Did you get to that?
I didn't. I didn't know about it in time.
Okay.
I feel like if I tried hard enough, I could have.
I was just curious to know whether that camera actually existed or whether it was just a piece of balsa wood.
No, it exists.
From what I gather, it was there and people were shooting with it.
Okay.
From like the other people that I were talking to that were at that event, like it was an event in and of itself.
Maybe before we get into talking about the new cameras that were announced, was there a lot of parties? I mean, was there a lot of nightlife and social activities around the event, or not so much?
Getting right to the point.
There were.
Can we see the pictures?
Parties.
I mean, social media, right? I mean, why else does that even exist?
Yeah, there are parties. There are after hours events and meetups and photo walks. Like it's a full-fledged initiative.
What was the best beer you had?
I mean, Cologne is known for their Kolsch. You go there and you have Kolsch. 2 years ago, I found this restaurant. It's a restaurant / Kolsch brewery. I'm going to say it wrong probably, but Fruh. FRUH. Went there a couple of times, had a decent meal, and 1 or 2 glasses of Kolsch.
Spread out.
But back to Photokina. Yes, there are photo walks, there's events, there's parties.
How big is the city itself of Cologne? Say compared to Manhattan, I mean, area-wise.
Enough to have its own full-fledged metro system.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And a giant cathedral.
And a giant cathedral that is my favorite part of Cologne. It looks like something that you would see in a movie that like an alien dropped. Like this is the spaceship that's in the middle of the city that should have news cameras around it at all times. It's daunting looking at it. It's enormous, beautiful. Love it.
And right in the middle of the city, too, right next to the train station.
Right in the middle of the city. Yeah. And everything around it is much more modern, and it sticks out.
But it's a walking city. You could pretty much walk around much of it, or is that?
I walked to the show the first day, and it was a 45-minute walk. Went over the bridge. Yeah, you can walk around.
Okay.
But the train was easy enough to navigate,
Especially after a few beers.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, Todd, what are some of the new cameras?
Yeah, we'll start with cameras, go to
Todd,
lenses,
why
and then
don't
work our
you,
way down.
Yeah, go ahead, Todd.
So,
Shawn, chime in as you see fit.
Yeah, there's so many. I'm sure we're
Really?
yeah, there was a lot.
How many point and shoots?
Before the show, lots. Before the show, Canon and Nikon both announced their full-frame mirrorless cameras. Both manufacturers rolled out a small quiver of lenses for those. I think 3 with the Nikon and then 4 with the Canon.
Quiver of lenses.
Quiver. And
I'm going to use that word in my next review.
and then also both cameras have adapters, so you can use legacy glass.
I think one of the important things about the new full-frame Canon and Nikon mirrorless cameras is that up till now, we've really had Sony as the full-frame mirrorless camera, and we're all busy adapting lenses to that from Nikon, Canon, everybody else. Now we have 4 different full-frame cameras at this point, right?
Yep.
And I have a feeling with adapters, and I think it's going to be that people will no longer necessarily be loyalists to one particular brand. In other words, you might use your Sony for one application, a Canon for another, and you could interchange all of the lenses you now have seamlessly. And I think it's going to be interesting that I think we're going to find photographers who, if they have different subject matter they're shooting, will be using not only different lenses for different applications, but might choose one body over another depending on whether they're doing video or low light or high speed or whatever the case might be. And everything is sort of like hybrid. I don't think anyone's going to get hurt per se because you might buy a camera from so-and-so, but buy lenses from 3 other so-and-sos. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It will be.
Cool. And Dana, were those 2 cameras kind of the main topics of conversation?
From a social standpoint, Canon, like the USR, was seemingly one of the more popular announcements that I covered there. But both Canon and Nikon were in full force with both of those cameras and systems. And both booths are 4 or 5 deep.
Yeah, to use them.
Looking to try them out.
Shawn, any thoughts? I haven't heard your thoughts on these 2 cameras. I know you've written about them.
I think that it really shows Sony influence.
Yeah.
All the mirrorless releases this year have done that because you're not seeing manufacturers release just one nice body and that's it. So with the Z series from Nikon, it's evident in that they have the Z6, the like generalist body, and the Z7, the high resolution body, compared to Sony's A7R line, A7S line, A7 line. And then Canon, they released the EOS R, but they also said that they're going to come out with a high-end body later, probably some other low-end ones. So it just shows how now we're getting more specific cameras for applications.
We already mentioned the Zeiss ZX1, but I think it deserves a little bit more discussion.
Yeah, I would say.
Kind of surprising because I think from what I read about it and from what I've thought about it, it's basically a smartphone in the sense that you can capture and share images, but it packs computer power and has Adobe Lightroom on board so you can edit your photos. But you don't get those annoying text messages or phone calls when you're using it. So it's a camera that's designed to work in the digital world.
It's supposed to be a seamless experience from shooting to sharing. And if you connect to Wi-Fi, which it can do directly, like a computer, you can actually go directly to a bunch of services. There's a lot of details that
And
are missing.
Lightroom Mobile is in the camera.
It looks, from the few screenshots that they've shared,
You can do all of your adjustments.
All the raw
tones,
adjustments.
everything, And it's got, 512 gigs built into it?
Yeah,
that's
it
the other
doesn't,
thing.
doesn't take a memory card. It has
No
its own
card
internal
slots.
It has a USB port, a small
Type-C.
and that's it. I was kind of surprised because when I was reading the early rumors, it sounded like it was going to be I hate to use the word rebadge because I have that connotation of what Hasselblad did with Sony cameras a few years back, but it sounded like an RX1 series
Yeah.
camera that was built up, but it's not.
That's exactly what I thought when I first saw the rumors. But it really isn't. Even the lens, a 35 f2, which is the same as Sony's, it's a completely different lens.
Yeah.
So it is a completely
It has
new
a similar
setup.
form factor, but two different cameras entirely. It really leapfrogs.
It'll be interesting to see if having a non-interchangeable prime is going to affect who buys that and who uses it, because it's.
I think the price is going to affect who buys it.
But that too.
What's the price and what's the focal length?
Price isn't out yet.
Assume somewhere in between or even higher than the RX1R Mark II and the Leica Q.
But it also does more than those two cameras in some
Sorta.
ways.
Yeah, it's so different that it'll probably do well enough.
Sounds pretty
It's
interesting.
35 millimeter f2 on the lens.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Potentially.
kind of wish it was a 28 or a 24, but that's my
Oh, I
personal
love
thing.
the 35, so I really want this camera.
Sounds
It's
cool.
beautiful too. I mean,
Yeah,
looking at
it's
it's a
stunning.
great design.
Yep.
It's the design house at Zeiss that's making these new sleek lenses. Obviously, had a hand in creating.
Yeah,
this,
it's got the Otis
camera.
yellow on the markings.
Otis
cool.
bodice look to it. So it's pretty cool.
All right.
No, it'll be interesting to see who picks it up, who embraces it, and if it's a winner for Zeiss.
Yep.
I wonder if it'll be at Photo Expo.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, what's next?
Well, we mentioned the Batis, somewhere on
Yeah.
the topic of Zeiss. If you want to throw the 40 millimeter f2 CF, I had that lens for 2 weeks before it was announced. We did a review on it. It's big. It's much bigger than I thought it was going to be, but it's a really nice lens. Pictures were stunning out of it, close focusing. And what I think is kind of interesting, there are now two 40 millimeter lenses that were introduced. Was it a Sigma who put out? Who put
Yeah,
out the,
Sigma put out an Art 40 as
Okay.
well as a 28. The Art line is impressively filled at this point.
Right.
Yeah, but what's interesting, they're going to 40 millimeter, which is really
Right there.
closer to true normal than a 50 would be, and I like that. And also the bodice, it's a distagon design. It's not a planar, so it's not really a normal lens formula. It's wide angle.
And what cameras? I mean, let's
Back
get
to
cameras.
cameras.
for a minute.
Back to
Yeah.
cameras.
Yeah.
So Fujifilm rolled out the XT3, which is the next XT camera.
It's nice.
And it's supposed to be nice, much improved video capability. So I think they're trying to chip into the video market.
Everyone is. I think that was a very significant, almost side note for a lot of these cameras, that they all have 4K, all have at least 30, and some have 60 like the XT3. And they do 10-bit out, a lot of them, which is a huge improvement because most cameras at this point, besides the GH series, have been limited to 8-bit, which for professional video applications has not been perfect.
The XT3 was the first Fuji that I went to their launch event for it, and it was the first Fuji that I picked up and played with it. And I shot all of the photos that I needed and a video for that event, and it was a pleasure to use, and the quality that came out of it was impressive, and want one for myself now.
But
Definitely on Todd's
are they
wishlist.
doing that to say that they have it, or are they really trying to make a go into a video market?
They're definitely making a go. You've seen this before. They released their Fujinon lenses for the E-mount for Sony cameras, and then they made that for X-mount. And the XT2 was also quite good at video.
And the
It did-
XH1 was had even more
Even
video
better,
capability.
yeah.
Yeah, so they're definitely angling towards video. And those two Fujinon Cine lenses are probably outstanding.
No, they're nice. They're nice and lightweight, and
Their glass has always been good
yeah.
for years
Yeah.
now.
But the bigger announcement, I think, from Fuji is the GFX 50R, which is their next GFX medium format camera.
wow. Okay.
And it's rangefinder design. There's no, like on the GFX 50S, there was like a hump digital viewfinder. On the 50R, it looks more like the XA3, just a sleek
X Pro.
rangefinder. Yeah.
Basically, what I've always said, I wish there was a Mamiya 7 that was digital, and this
Yeah.
is about as close as you're going to get to it.
yeah,
They did it,
that
right?
is pretty much. It's almost a spiritual successor if you look at it. It's
Yeah.
very similar design, especially with the rangefinder style with the EVF right there.
Yeah,
Spiritual successor? Is that what you said? Okay, wow.
Maybe.
yeah, that works. I like that. And
getting
plus,
deep.
it's a nice set of lens. I mean, the optics already exist. It's not like they came up with a
No.
camera, no glass to go along with. The lenses are there too.
It's also cheaper than the
Yeah.
the 50S.
It's going to be, the price point's going to make a lot of DSLR shooters think about it. 'Cause,
The R is for rangefinder, I guess.
As an
And-
APS-C shooter, I'm constantly ridiculed for my sensor size
Yeah.
by full-frame shooters.
Like me.
And I might
Oh,
just
boy.
break out.
Here we go.
I just might break out in the medium format.
No,
we're talking about
have
sensors.
To, no, I have
right?
to admit, this camera has me thinking too that
Yeah.
maybe there's a new definition of full frame for me coming
Yeah,
up.
it's going to be smaller and lighter than a lot of pro DSLRs.
Yeah,
And the price is going to be about the same.
You're right. That's it.
You don't get the 16 frames a second shutter speed.
Is it the same sensor, or did you guys already say that?
Same sensor.
Same
as the-
sensor, same size?
Yeah.
Everything, yeah.
So
Now,
it's going to
they
be.
did announce that they're working with the new 100 megapixel version of that sensor.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be
Just
interesting
in case
when we see
50
that.
something wasn't enough.
Yeah.
In May, probably in May.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
next-
there were a couple of tech announcements of what's to come, and that was definitely one
Okay.
that was notable.
But I
More
tell you,
cameras?
it's interesting that they actually just leapfrogged 35 millimeter full frame.
I think,
It was smart.
yeah,
Because
Yeah.
look at how filled the full frame market just became in the past 6 months.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
They
Fuji's going to be, I think they're going to be the last man standing in APS-C. Everybody else is going to be fighting for the full frame scraps. And then for the studio portrait shooter, you can get a medium format, beautiful camera for the same price as a pro DSLR.
Right.
I also think it's pretty
there's a lot to be
impressive.
said for that.
Yeah.
You don't have to go back that far where a 50 megapixel medium format back would cost you $30,000.
I think like 2 years.
You think about it, and it's like you get a lot of camera, a lot of resolving power for a reasonable price.
Prices keep coming down. It's
Yeah.
it's a good thing. Cool. I support that.
Your wallet does.
Controversial statement.
My wallet supports it.
All right. Any more
Credit card
cameras?
company is disappointed, but
Let's keep talking cameras,
Yeah.
then we'll take a little break.
there was Dana mentioned it earlier. The Lumix S1R and S1, Panasonic is going full frame.
Okay.
Which, going back to what
mirrors.
Shawn was saying, like one's a high resolution model, one's like more of a standard resolution.
Yep.
I think it's 47 megapixels and 24.
Yeah, 47 and 24. 24 is pretty much the standard now.
And those got a lot of love at the show.
Do you think they're going to be going away from micro four thirds because that was their whole basket?
That's going to be
forever.
the big question, I think.
No way.
I don't feel like they're going away from it. I feel like same thing as Todd was saying about Fuji. Like you're going to have these two different options where like the GH5 is your kind of your entryway in, and then I want to upgrade or have a higher end option. Like I think they're going to have two systems.
Do you think Olympus is going to follow this path too?
So Olympus has
Any
been
rumors?
quiet for the
Yeah.
past few months. They didn't have any real announcements at Photokina either. So I think first half of next year we should be interested in seeing what they're coming out with, especially since, Dana, you said they had a whole setup.
And they had it was a cool whole setup, but they had this. I believe they had the same thing 2 years ago. I think that's
Did they?
sort of like their thing at Photokina.
I
But
feel like they had new cameras though last time.
the OMD Mark
5,
II,
1, Mark 2, something or other.
the EM Mark II,
Yeah.
they were still kind of rolling with that, and I mean they are pretty well due for something, and it'll be interesting to see how they come into this.
So, two questions with the Panasonic release: are they going to continue to support micro four thirds, or are they going to leave Olympus to have that market share by themselves? And the other thing to mention is the camera has an L mount, lens mount, and there's a consortium between Panasonic, Leica, and Sigma to make lenses for this system.
Weird pairing.
Yeah,
right?
strange
weird
bedfellows, as they say.
That's great.
But that was why they talked about. They had kind of lenses laid out there of like what's to come, and
There's already a bunch of Leica L lenses. They're on the spendy side, but it'll be interesting to see what Sigma rolls out and what Panasonic rolls out.
And
for
who'll
those
be
cameras.
making those lenses?
Right.
I mean, they're
Everyone,
sharing a
right.
mount, but
Yeah.
It'll be everybody will be making their own, I think,
Okay.
at this point. Leica's still making the Leica lenses. Panasonic's going to be making some, and Sigma's probably just going to take their art line and
But L.
add a new mount.
Yeah.
camera-wise, Leica M10, that's out now.
M10P.
M10P, yes. And I spoke to one person who used it, and he said that I think he's owned about 3 of the digital M's, and he goes, it seems like they really got their act together. now on this one? All little things that bothered him about the
I keep
last one.
hearing
They wrapped it
keep
up.
hearing that every time when Leica has
Yeah, I know.
a new M rangefinder.
Yeah, but was anyone complaining about the M?
Well, they
digital
all had the
cameras?
little quirks about little things here and there. It's like
They got a little
refinements.
bloated with extra features.
okay.
Because
Yeah.
the M240, they had a video in there. The body got a little bigger for that purpose, and now they like pared it down back to what was core Leica features.
Yeah.
Made the body a little smaller, and now
The M10 and the M10P are just slightly bigger than the film rangefinders. So it doesn't have that chunky,
Right.
like they all had the same feel, but the M8, M9, and the 240 all felt big.
Yeah, they filled the hand more. Absolutely.
The biggest change on the P is the red dot is gone from the front, which some people like, some people don't, and then it has a redesigned shutter that's incredibly quiet,
Yes.
which is really cool.
That always got me about that. The digital M's were noisier than the film cameras, and there was nothing moving inside. That was found to be amazing.
Guys,
I do wish they had the cocking lever still. I wish
Yes.
that would be cool.
Dana's got to get going. Do we have any more cameras?
Yeah, the
before we-
Zenit M. What's
How
the
about we
story
do
with
this?
that?
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's wrap up the cameras, and then we can even just say, we're going to take a break. We're going to let Dana go. We're going to come back, talk lenses and
One more
accessories, stuff
Leica,
like that.
by the way.
Yeah. All right. So there's something else from Leica, you said?
yeah, there was one more Leica. They announced they're working on the S3, which is their medium format DSLR.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is, I believe, 65 megapixels. I might have to double check on that, but somewhere around there.
Wow.
And it's interesting to see. There's not many details, but it's going to be an interesting camera when it comes out, especially since it has full width 4K video shooting. Not exactly sure what they're going for with this, but
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've heard rave reviews on those cameras, but very few people own them because
Yeah,
guy.
I shot with the S2, and I found it to be a wonderful camera to use. It was really, really nice. The glass is great. But yeah, I've never seen anybody walking around with one. I don't know anybody who actually uses them. So
you need to bring a security force with you.
hey,
I know a celebrity, a portrait photographer who uses them regularly. Yeah.
okay, so there you go. They
Good for
justified
you,
the
Jim.
market.
I don't know what to say. I mean, but I do know some people.
It's definitely not the camera for every man. It's not an entry level.
No, not quite.
Okay, one more camera. You
Yeah,
said?
the Zenit M, which is made with Leica, but it's a Russian camera, and I read a little bit about it, and it seems to be it's made with Leica. It has certain Leica parts, I believe, including the sensor. It's made in Russia though, and it's not much cheaper than the Leica M10P. So I'm a little bit confused about who's going to buy it, why they're doing it, but time will tell.
yeah, I heard it might have been a limited run too, or it might be a limited run. So
Okay.
And we're going to find out how limited it is. Anyway, we are going to take a short break, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about lenses and other toys. And Dana's taking off right now. Thank you so much for stopping in.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
I guess we'll do another one of these in May for
Something-
photokina 2019.
Something to live for.
Let's
There
do
you
it
go.
in Cologne.
Yeah, but thanks for having me along.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah,
And now you could say you have been on this podcast.
I've been saying it all week.
Okay, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We hope you're enjoying this edition of the B&H Photography Podcast. Send us a tweet at BHPhotoVideo, #BHPhotoPodcast.
We are back. Let's start talking about lenses. There was a lot of glass introduced at the show. And Shawn, where do you want to start with that one?
I think you got to start with the biggest chunk, which is Sigma, because they had 5 lenses come out.
Yeah.
Some they're all quite nice.
Yeah.
I know, Alan, you're playing with the 60 to 600, right?
Yes, I'm currently doing a review on that thing. Yep. Yeah,
How's that?
I have a shoulder brace right now to kind of help me. Actually, surprisingly, Sunday we went trail biking, and I had that in a backpack with a carbon fiber tripod and a gimbal head. And we biked for most of the afternoon, and I got some good shots along the way, and it was comfortable. It was all right. It weighs about a little under, I don't know, it's heavy. I forget the exact weight about that thing. It's interesting to use. It's a good lens. The focal range is pretty amazing. I mean, normal to 600 millimeters, 10x, 10 range. But one of the neat things about it, which surprised me, is if you put it into the 200 millimeter position, it focuses down to about a little under 2 feet. And yeah, I was doing some really nice close as if I had a normal 50 millimeter lens on. It was heavy. I do recommend putting it on a monopod. I got a gimbal head specifically to use, which makes it a lot easier to use. But I was also photographing some horses in a pasture handheld, and it came out fine. It was really, really good. I don't know if I'd want to have to carry it all day long. I'm not quite sure if I'd want to do a fast sports event with it because to rack that thing up all the way, it's really, really weird. But the focusing, it's got a little limiters on it so you can control where your range would be. And I got used to it real quickly. It tracks very nicely. And I would say that of all the pics I got, easily more than 95% of them came out sharp. I don't, very few that I really misfocus.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, no, seriously, I'm more impressed than I thought I was going to be.
Are these all art lenses or contemporary?
This is a sports
This is
series.
sports.
It's they're all part of that. What's it? Global
Vision.
Global Vision, but they have different ones. This is a sports specific lens.
Yeah, they also released the long-awaited 7200 2.8 Sports,
which everyone's raving about.
yeah, that's going to be a big seller.
What now?
why
There's
is
no
that-
shortage of 70 to 200 2.8s. What makes this one so special?
Well, Sigma's been really doing well with their lenses lately. The quality of the glass is really good. It's on par, if not better, than a lot of first-party manufacturers.
It
So,
used to be third party was a dirty word.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
and they can do it cheaper than the main manufacturers, and that's the huge selling point Sigma has here. But there's also a lot of other functions and features, and if you really want a nice lens and you don't have the money to spend on the new Canon and Nikon stuff, Sigma is a great alternative now.
By the way, the 60 to 600, it's I think $19.95 is the suggested selling. So it's under $2,000, which is a lot of lens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
of,
ones you can't get from Canon or Nikon.
Right.
and the 150 to 600s that Sigma and Tamron have are really nice lenses and very versatile for wildlife shooters and stuff. But what I was going to say is back on the 70 to 200, you used to be able to get an 80 to 200 2.8 lens for under $1,000. But now the Nikon and Canon ones are about twice that.
So they're almost flagship lenses now
Yeah.
because they have all the latest tech and they're really good lenses. They're
Yeah.
just expensive now.
Really expensive.
And you said it was a sport. Did they have a 70-200 art lens or?
No,
It's
so
contemporary or sport. Those are usually
But it's the first 70-200 2.8. Or
it's the
new
first
one.
in the Global Vision line.
Yeah.
I believe.
Are all of the art lenses primes, fixed
Not
focal
anymore.
length, or do they
No.
have any
No,
zooms?
they have
oh,
a
no, there
couple
are
zooms.
zooms. That's
There are
right.
zooms,
Yep.
yeah.
2470 right here.
Right. Okay. That's right.
And that 24 to 35. F2, yeah.
Yeah.
That weird one.
Yeah. So what were the other ones that they came out with?
So if you didn't like 24, 35, or 50, they now have a 28 and 40 1.4s to add to that list.
Interesting.
And the last one was a 56 for APS-C, which adds to their existing APS-C line. So now there's a trio, so you can get basically a 35, 50, and 85 equivalent now on APS-C.
Sounds good. Any other lenses?
I think
going?
we have to circle back to the Nikon and Canon mirrorless launches because they both launched lenses with those cameras, and those lenses are kind of getting overshadowed by the camera announcements.
Yeah, the Nikkor Zs.
Yeah, the
That's their
Zs.
new series.
Sitting in meetings with both Canon and Nikon about their lenses for the new mirrorless cameras, they're both talking more about the lenses than the cameras. So they're
Really?
definitely pitching glass as their major selling point going forward.
So they have three Nikkors. There's a 50-1.8, a 35-1.8, and a 24-70 f4. That's what they've announced so far, and I imagine there's going to be a lot more
They're
coming
all
out.
quite compact lenses. And from the early images I saw, they supposedly are top performers. Nikon made some bold claims saying that their 50 is one of the best 50s ever made, comparing it to some few $1,000 50 millimeter options. But
We'll see.
we'll see.
Alan's not sold.
Well, no, it's easy to make the claim, and a 50. There are some very, very good 50s out there, and not all of them, by the way, cost several $1,000s.
Very true.
You know, they're
Most of them do not.
Right.
Right. Sony's got that 24 that you mentioned, right?
Oh, by the way, just go back to
Yes,
Nikon.
yeah.
Nikon also has their the 500 millimeter 5.6 PFED-VR, which sounds like a nice honker.
So I have
too.
no use for telephoto lenses beyond like 7200, but the 300 and 500 PF, they're just so tiny and
Yeah.
incredible that I just want them anyway.
You'll find use
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah, exactly.
If you haven't handled one of those, it's amazing. Like the 300 PF and the 500 is not much bigger, but that 300 fit in the same spot in my camera bag that a 70 to 200 did.
It's lighter,
and
too,
it was
isn't it?
lighter
Yeah.
and smaller, and then you have 300 f4 on a thing that is about the size of a soup can.
By the way, just to go back to that Sigma zoom, the 60 to 600, it sounds like a monster. It's under a foot long when it's It's 60 millimeter. I mean, when you rack it at the 600, it grows another 2 feet. But it's actually pretty small. It's carry-on. It really is a manageable lens. It really, really is.
But let's talk about the Canon mirrorless lenses too.
Yeah. So the key lens is the 28 to 70. It's an f2. So this is the first time we've seen a major manufacturer come out with a general zoom that's that fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge improvement. It's also a huge lens. It's got a 95 millimeter front thread. If
That's the
that
same
tells
as
you
the
anything.
60 to 600 Sigma.
Yeah.
That's big. That's a lot of glass.
But they also covered their bases. They have a 24 to 105 coming out. That's going to be very popular, just like their other 24 to 105s. Probably their best-selling lens ever. And
Well, see, they have a roadmap to go by. They already know what the consumers want, so it's not like they have to,
just
shoot
pick
in the
their
dark.
best sellers and remake them better and smaller for mirrorless.
Re-engineer them. That's it. Yeah. So they got the roadmap right there.
And then there was the 50 millimeter f1.2, which is an interesting 50 to go with to start, but it shows the focus on glass. And then, is there one more, Todd?
32-1.4.
3214. Yeah, that was for that was actually for the APS-C.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Cut that.
Now we can talk about that. So
I just didn't scroll down far
Canon
enough.
is very popular,
Yeah.
and it's easy to say that the early mirrorless cameras weren't that good, but they're actually very popular. And so it's nice to see that they're coming out with a 35-1.2 or 32-1.2
For the M,
for
their
the
M series,
the
right?
original M. Yeah.
So they had to round up the Canon mirrorless 28-70 f2, 50 f1.2, 35-1.8 macro, and a 24 to 105 f4.
I forgot about the 35 macro. It's going to be a very nice complement to the 24-105 if you need a nice, affordable kit for your brand new EOS R.
For listeners, check back a few weeks ago. We did an episode on these two cameras and these lenses. We talked a little more in depth. on them, so.
Yeah.
More lenses?
Yeah, Sony G Master 24-1.4.
So this is really nice in my opinion because they haven't had a wide angle high end prime. I think their widest right now is before that was the 28 f2, which is a nice lens, but it's kind of mid range. So this G Master 24 and the fact that it's quite small for what it is a very nice addition to the line.
Great. And that's a E-mount, I guess, right?
Yep.
Yeah, full frame E mount.
Yeah.
Tamron had their lightweight 17 to 35 2.8 to 4, which weighs, I think it's just an ounce over a pound.
Yeah. Everything's getting smaller and lighter.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, another lens, Voigtlander, the Nocton 50 millimeter f1.2 spheric. That's an Leica M mount, which of course you could adapt to any number of cameras.
Pretty much anything announced this year can take it.
Yeah. And that's pretty nice. And Voigtlander makes stunning glass. Actually, it's made in the same factory as the Zeiss lenses. It's all by Cosina. So it's good stuff.
They have a 51.2, but this isn't a spherical version, and comes with the associated price tag of making spherical lenses.
All right. A little pricey, but worth it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful though. Lens Baby Soul 45.
Soul.
Another one.
She's got soul. All right. And what's the deal with that?
Gets a
amazing.
little blur on the edge.
Oh.
Yeah, it actually has these funny little
Like,
things you
cut
could
this out.
swing in front of, like little shapy things that go in front of the thing. You could control what's out of focus on the edges.
Yeah, it's interesting. You really got to look it up to understand what it's doing. If you like that kind of special effects lens, it's another option for you.
Is it down at the lower price end of their lenses, or?
I think it's a few $100, $200 or $300.
I think it's
in
right.
$300
It's right in the
range.
mix.
It's Lens Baby pricing.
All right.
And then the last thing on my note sheet is Hasselblad rolled out 3 new lenses for their mirrorless medium format system, the XCD system.
Oh, wow.
A 65-2.8, a 135-2.8, and a 81-9.
That 80 is their fastest lens
Ever.
ever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I think F2 is the fastest thing they ever made before this.
It's medium format. It's tough, and
Yeah.
they did it now.
Yeah.
That's great.
And that was only for the electronic shutter Hasselblads way back when.
Now, aren't they coming out with a new? Shouldn't they be coming out with a new camera pretty soon to kind of follow up to that?
I
mean,
heard
Fuji
that
just
there
did,
is
right?
a camera that's going to be coming out priced a little bit less. Yes,
Really?
that's what I heard.
The only thing I've heard lately is similar to Fuji's announcement that they're working with the 100 megapixel sensor. It would only make sense that Hasselblad would also jump on that sensor.
Right.
But I think also they're coming in with something a little bit lower priced, I believe.
That
That's
would be
medium
nice.
format. I heard from a reliable source with no details, I think towards the spring. It might have 4 propellers on it, though. I'm not sure. But, no.
Well, speaking of which, any drones, any oddball gear, any accessories?
I think the Profoto B10 deserves a mention.
Okay,
Yes.
mention them.
I saw that
Super-
puppy. Yes, it's nice.
It's
It's crazy.
nice. They say it's the size of a lens. It's a little wider than your 7200 is going to be, but it is that
It is
tiny.
smaller than the 60 to 600 Sigma, though. Yeah.
It's tiny. It's lightweight. It's a super compact version of the B1, and now it has some extra features and bells and whistles, including a LED light that'll work nicely for video.
Yeah, it's bright. I saw that. Cliff, she gave me a little demo on that thing. It's beautiful.
It's rated at 250 watt seconds, so it's a stop less than the B1, which really isn't that bad. And the LED light being used for video is huge, and it even has fully adjustable color temperatures and brightness.
And you could work it off your smartphone. A lot of controls. It's amazing. I think for travel photographers, especially right now, if you travel with gear, you can really pack cameras, stands, and lights onto your carry-on right now if you do it right. And you could really travel with a complete photo system far easier than you could a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's incredible to see. As we said earlier, everything's getting lighter and smaller.
Yeah, and again, it's applicable for still and video, which makes it that much more versatile, which you couldn't do a few years ago.
And it's a part of the Air system, so if you're already in Profoto, it's a nice addition to your kit. So it works with all the major manufacturers now. Sony, Fuji, Olympus, Nikon, Canon obviously have Air systems, so you can even get TTL with it.
And aesthetically, it's beautiful. The design, everything, the whole execution of it, it's a really, really, really nice piece of equipment.
There's new versions of the Mavic 2 Pro and Mavic 2 Zoom from DJI. Those are going to be incredibly popular drones.
Yeah, I got to take that for a spin with Brett Smith. We went to Iceland to test them out, and they're easily the best consumer drones you can get today. The Pro especially.
Now, out of the box, if you say you have no experience with drones, I mean, how easy are these things to open up, set up, and get started with? Because back in the day, it was not easy.
It's super easy these days, and especially with drones like this, they all have obstacle avoidance and everything. So as long as you're not doing anything incredibly stupid, you shouldn't have any
You're
issues.
trying to smash into
Or
something.
you're trying to smash into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's doable.
Really? So these systems work pretty well.
Yeah, and they're
Did you try to smash into things and they avoided it, or?
yes.
We've tried.
Tried is a nice way to put it.
Yeah, that's cool.
They're good, especially the Pro has the Hasselblad camera. The 1-inch sensor on that is about the same as the RX100 type cameras, and it makes a huge difference.
And then there's a bunch of random things, but I think we need to talk about the Gitso Mini Traveler.
Mm-hmm.
Undoubtedly the world's premier tabletop tripod.
Okay.
And
If
why
we
do you
don't-
say that?
Price point.
Okay.
Carbon fiber.
It's carbon fiber.
Yeah.
6.6 pound capacity. But if you were looking for the ultimate in tabletop tripods, I think your search is over.
It's good to know.
We're talking about stabilizers. Zoontech announced the Weeble Lab, which is practically a direct competitor to the DJI Ronin S.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to see in this market more options coming out. And this one's smaller. They claim it's about the size of an A4 sheet of paper. So like A4 letter size, which is quite tiny for something that can handle mirrorless cameras and have a full gimbal in it.
Cool.
And then there was the GoPro Hero 7. I don't know. I mean, GoPros are incredibly popular, but I don't know if when they announce a new one, if it makes a splash that they used to these days.
They've changed their cycle, so it's not we get a lot of new ones, but we don't get major advancements each time. Right. So with this one, it's pretty much just a firmware type update. Not quite. It's a lot of software and additional processing in there. So the stabilization system has been dramatically improved. So they say it's as smooth as a gimbal without needing one. And anybody who's used a GoPro or put one on their head the last time they went skiing or something knows that GoPro footage is shaky a lot of the time. So it's going to be nice.
Interesting.
I've been in the surf the last few weekends, and then there's a couple guys that have like teeth-mounted GoPros. As they start to paddle towards the wave, they put a GoPro in their mouth as a mouth guard, and then they film from eye level. It looks a little weird, but
Yeah.
Now, boxing matches that way could be kind of interesting. I just noticed that the Canon, we skipped one little camera, Canon PowerShot SX70HS.
Oh.
Yeah, a few new tweaks in that. It's their super zoom, 65-time optical zoom lens.
What's the range? Because I also have 65X, but you know what they actually go, like 7,000 millimeters or something like that?
No, it's like 1,200, 1,300, I think, on the far end.
Yeah, it's something like that. I forget exactly. I don't know off the top of my head.
It's nutty.
It was that when they released the camera, they didn't actually mention the focal lengths, but
And that's a bridge style body? Or
Bridge style body.
Yeah, super zoom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I've spent all my money.
That's it? Nothing kind of really interesting and odd that you guys want to mention? I mean, there's a lot of stuff, actually. I'm
There's
surprised.
a lot of things.
I didn't think there'd be so many.
Pocket Wizard has Sony compatibility now.
Okay.
So that's kind of a big thing.
Sekonic has a new super color meter, the C800.
All right.
And that thing has a new SSI mode. And if you're on, it's another one of those CRI, TLCA measurement types. But this one lets you take a measurement from a light and then directly compare that measurement to other lights. So if you don't really care too much about the actual accuracy and how they compare, and you want to directly make sure that two lights are matched, that's what this function adds, basically.
In general, do you really need color meters anymore? It used to be in the days of film you did, but with digital sensors and the amount of control we have post,
so
how critical is it?
I think it was really critical a couple years ago because LED technology is still quite new.
Yeah.
And LEDs can vary dramatically.
Okay.
And early measurements for something like CRI is interesting because it was not great for LEDs, but it works great for tungsten-based sources. But you used to be able to get a measurement of like a 98 CRI, which sounds really good, but you could basically have no reds because of how the measurements were averaged. And so then TLCI was created, and now there's just so many LEDs out there, and they vary in quality so dramatically. I think if you are doing that important of work, these meters aren't cheap. So
No, they're not,
If it's
no.
that important to you, and you're checking like lights to make sure that they're all the same, that's going to be helpful, especially in post, and if you're doing a lot of VFX work.
Okay, gotcha.
All this drives me to become a natural light shooter.
Yeah, right.
Well, no, it's always been color's a funny thing because our eyes really compensate for a lot. You know, we're sitting under fluorescent lights. We don't see green light. There's no red in the spectrum, but our eyes adjust for it. You walk around the streets at night, we see that orangey thing, but for the most part, our eyes really do amazing jobs in compensating. Whereas the film certainly doesn't, and imaging sensors do to a certain extent, but they too are not perfect. You always have to tweak your color.
See, these meters aren't for the average shooter either. They're for high-end production.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about the latest superhero movie where half the movie is going to be built in graphics engines in post, having something where you can match a light source day after day so that if you're reshooting on the green screen, everything still looks nice, that's important.
Yeah, it's true you could fix everything in post, but it's sure nice when you don't have to.
And that's exactly the point
It
of
takes
yeah.
less time to do it right up front than to fix it post.
Yeah.
Less time and cheaper. That's the bottom line.
Agreed.
Good place to end.
Well, another show in the can. It's great. Again, talking about new toys is always fun, and we'll hopefully have these in our hands to play with and talk about more as time goes on. For now, that was photokina 2018. Want to thank again Dana Glidden and Todd Vorenkamp and Shawn Steiner. And on behalf of Jason, John, and myself, Thank you so much for tuning in today.